Why can't we wear our PE kits to school when we have it first period?
The start of the school day is staff's opportunity to make sure that everybody arriving to school is in school uniform. And school uniform, it is so important. It says so much about us as a school, as individuals. Uniform as well is something that's supported by parents. The uniform policy has been ratified by parents. And at the start of the day, when you're coming through those doors, when your inform time is a time that we pick up when pupils aren't in correct uniform. If we were to have pupils arriving in PE kit, it kind of prevents that routine of checking uniform from taking place. We have done this in the past. During the pandemic, we allowed pupils to wear PE kit throughout the school day, rather than using the changing rooms. That created problems, and it did dilute the standards in uniform. If pupils really feel strongly about it, it is something I will consider, but I need to be assured, if that's what you really want to do, and you can assure me that you will maintain uniform standards, then I'm happy to go for that. But I need to be reassured by pupil council.
How much electricity does the school use with the amount of lights and computers you use?
Okay, electricity, gas costs us a lot of money. We're all aware of what's in the news at the moment about the rise in particular gas. The school spends a lot of money on gas and electricity. In fact, I've got the figures here. I've asked my business manager to look into this. I'm going to let you pause for a moment, and I want you to guess on how much it costs in gas and electricity to keep the school running for a full year. I'm just going to pause for a moment while you think of that. So have a think about how much we spend on gas, electricity. The figure comes in year to date. So from September to April, we have spent £136,000 on gas and electricity. So by the time we get to the end of the academic year, the heating obviously isn't going to be as much, and either the lights, but running the computers still costs the same, cooking the meals still costs the same. I'm expecting that we'll be moving towards £180,000. But it's not because we are energy inefficient. Each year I'm provided with figures from the government that compares our use of gas and electricity against other schools that have a similar building. And we are spending no more, no less than other schools. We are pretty energy efficient. Lights turn off in the classroom when the classroom's not being used. The corridor lights turn off when this doesn't detect movement. And a lot of the lighting as well is actually LED, which is cheaper to run than traditional light bulbs. We also manage to keep some of the heating costs down. We have a biomass system. When you go down to the very end of the CLC car park, you will see a building, and inside there is a biomass boiler, and that allows us to keep our costs down.
Why has the school spent so much money on new smart boards when all around the school there is graffiti to paint over?
Each year we have to spend a significant amount of money on replacing computers, smart boards, projectors and other technology in the school. Clearly those machines don't last forever, including smart boards. Each year I sit with Mr Snelson, the business manager, to work out how much do we need to spend to maintain our machines to make sure that they all work. And smart boards in the majority of classrooms at the moment are 10 years old. They've been in classrooms since the school opened. They are coming to their end of their life. The projectors, the picture's not as clear. If we didn't replace those machines, we'd find ourselves in a position where we didn't have smart boards in classroom. So that's the reason why some of the smart boards are being replaced. Part of the question about, how can you replace this when we still have graffiti in classrooms? There should be no graffiti in classrooms. And there isn't really a particular cost in getting rid of that graffiti. We don't have to repaint the classroom. We have some chemical that we put on the walls to take off that graffiti. And so that's not to do with money. That's to do with teachers and pupils actually reporting that issue to us. On the back of this question and the point being raised to me before by student council. A classroom audit is being carried out by the facilities manager, who's walking around with the caretakers identifying any graffiti. I've also asked the cleaners to be more vigilant when we see graffiti appear. I know that's something that they work very hard on, but thank you for pointing that out to me. If you don't notice an improvement, can you please let me know? And can I remind both pupils and staff, if you do see graffiti in the school, it does need reporting. And this doesn't cost anything.
Why does our school only have 3 options at GCSE?
Why do we have 3 option choices? I would love to be able to extend that to 4 option choices, but there are only 25 periods in a week. And if you add up the number of maths lessons, add on the English, the science, your PE lesson, your ICT lesson, you start to eat into that 25 periods very quickly. The remaining time is left there for your options. If we were to put 4 option choices, it would reduce the amount of times that you had to study your other options. Or we would have to pinch a period from mathematics, take a period from science, or perhaps take a period from English. The argument that I pose to you is that your English, your maths and your science would suffer because you have an extra GCSE. It's something I can look at. I meet with Mr Watson at this time of year to look at next year's curriculum, but I believe that 3 GCSEs is very similar to what happens in other schools, and I will let you know if there is a possibility, but those are the issues that face me about having too many GCSEs and that reducing the actual standard of your grades.
Why did you want to be a head teacher?
Why do I want to be a head teacher? Well, it goes back really to why I wanted to be a teacher in the first place, which is to make a difference to young children's life chances. As I got more experience as a teacher, I really became more ambitious. I didn't just want to impact on the children that I taught. I wanted to make an impact on children throughout the school. That's what gets me to work every morning, knowing that I'm going to come to work and I'm going to make a difference to young people's lives.
Why are we not allowed on our phones at break and lunch anymore?
Using phones in school is an area that is hotly contested and debated. I would love to be able to say, great, everybody use their phones, as long as it's related to learning. I would love to say to teachers, you know, if you know of a good resources on the internet and you want the kids to go onto their phones and bookmark it so they can do some homework on it after school. I think it'd be great to see perhaps devices or mobile phones that allows you to select an answer to a question and that to be sent straight across to the teacher. However, there is negatives to having phones in school, and that is to do, unfortunately, with the use of social media and online bullying that takes place. If I allowed pupils to use social media, use mobile phones, Snapchatting, TikToking, whatever, we would have that many incidents in school that would just take up teachers' time. It would also lead you to not being safe. And when we did allow mobile phones to be used during break time and lunchtime, the heads of year, form tutors, senior leaders are spending far too much time chasing up incidents where somebody had Snapchatted something that was happening, and that's just not a good use of anybody's time, and it's also not keeping you safe. And I don't think our stance on mobile phones is much different from other schools. Thank you. I've really enjoyed answering these questions, and I really feel privileged that you can feel that you can ask me questions and that you'll know that I'll get a straight answer from me. Please keep these questions coming. I do love the idea of Bazchat. Just please remember that my name is Mr Barrowclough. I know you call me Baz, just don't let me hear you call me Baz. Thank you.